Some wisdom is found on the surface, and some wisdom takes us deeper. Welcome to Get Deep, where we dive into the thoughts, truths, and affirmations that help us grow, reflect, and move forward. I'm Deborah D.E.E.P, Mouton, and every episode we'll explore the power of words, the strength of resilience, and the beauty of introspection. Come in, take a seat, and let's get deep. My mother is a storyteller. Maybe that's where I get it from. She used to tell me all of these fantastical tales about the people who came before me in our bloodline. Most of them true, some of them exaggerated in the ways that Black folks do. You know, we're related to everybody. She told me that my cousin was Willie Mays, the famous baseball player. Even broke it down to who in the community he was related to that got him to us. Only for me to find out that cousin is a loose word. Maybe one that is more like friend, more like neighbor, more like I've looked at you enough times to call you mine. Still, there's family in that. The next thing she told me was that I had a cousin who sat on the bus before Rosa Parks, refused her seat. That one actually turned out to be true, Aurelia Browder. But in all of her storytelling, there was something beautiful about the way that she kept our history and the way that she told the stories at random times at holiday events. While stirring the gumbo or carving the turkey, some new tale of who we had been in one time or another would pour out of her mouth, surrounded by the cackles and screams of loving a story that made us feel bigger than we were. That's what I wanted to capture when I sat down and decided to write my memoir, Black Chameleon. I wanted to string together all of the stories, whether they were factual or not. There was a certain kind of truth that they held that made me believe that I could be an important person in this world. And as I put the pieces together one by one, I didn't really know how they spoke to each other, but I knew that I wanted them all to be there. So I consulted a friend, one who was much more seasoned in writing memoirs, especially as a poet. I wanted someone who could teach me what I was doing and help me shape what I was into the right thing. The right thing is such a weird phrase, one that means that there has to be a wrong thing or a wrong approach. Something that every artist knows may not exactly be true, but is kind of how the world makes us want to believe and think about our art. So I brought it to someone who I trusted, someone who knew how this should go. And she took a look at my work, read a few of the passages, and immediately told me that that's not how any of this works. This is not how a memoir works. I remember looking online for some hard and fast rules of how to put it together, and there was nothing, because in reality, the way you tell your story may be wildly different from the way someone else does. And that's what makes us beautiful and different and colorful and worth reading. And as I looked in those pages, I just kept thinking that there had to be something else. There was something else that was in conversation. So I sat in the middle of my floor and I wasted a million trees printing out every page so that I could see and hold each story in my hands. And I thought about which piece blended with another. How did they want to communicate who I was and who I came from? I think of storytelling much like those old school 3D pictures. You know, the ones that you would get really close to your face and slowly back away from, hoping that some other hidden image would emerge. And some people, it took them longer to find it than others. I could never find the pictures, though my dad was amazing. But there was something in there that was meant for him to see and not me. So when I sat down with the work, the 3D image of what I wanted to do started to emerge. I was able to pull together an award-winning memoir that worked brilliantly in blending together mythology and stories and these moments that my mother continued to recount. And I remember holding the book the first time thinking, look, it worked. There's something about when you have a vision that's not meant for everyone else to see. Sometimes you're the only one that can pull the picture far enough away that everything pops into clarity. And that's your genius. That's your brilliance. And it's made just for you. So if the people around you don't quite get it, even those that love you, know that it might not be out of malice, it might not be out of disbelief, but that sometimes you are the visionary for the vision. So embrace it. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hope this moment of reflection stays with you, guides you, and reminds you to keep going. If you found value in this episode, let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram at Live Life Deep and share your thoughts, your wisdom, and your light. And if you're enjoying the podcast, the best way to support it is simple. Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support helps others find this space of growth and inspiration. This has been a Gemini's production. You can explore some of the other podcasts on the network by going to GeminisProductions.com or following on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Gemini's Productions. Until next time, remember, you've been given today. What you do with it is up to you.